ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be here with you guys on a cold but wonderful Monday evening. It is the second Monday of 2022, a year that has started off like no other. Tonight, we'll talk about all the top news stories and entertainment stories since we last left you last Thursday. We've had just a lot happen from the passing of an icon, humanitarian, and historian, the late, great Mr. Sir Sidney Poitier, Oscar-winning actor and Hollywood's first Black movie star, died at the age of 94. And then last night, while most of us were having dinner, we found out that comedian, actor, and television host Mr. Bob Saget has passed away, as well as other celebrities who passed away over the weekend. So 2022 is starting as no joke of what is going on. And later on in the show, Dr. Janice Seabrook will join us tonight. Of course, COVID is still the number one thing being talked about all over the world. The Omicron variant is the biggest variant right now that is really, a lot of people are testing positive. Here in the co-host chair, who I know is not positive, at least from the last time we talked. We've been safe and welcoming. If anything, she's positive about her words and comments. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Miss Hey Renee of Karen. What's happening, darling? How are you?
I'm good, Chat Daddy. How are you on this cold Monday evening? And it's gonna get cold tonight. So,
Yes, yes,
cuddle buddy season alert. If you
yes.
got a buddy,
Amen.
start cuddling.
Yes, start cuddling, but cuddle buddies. Yes, amen. Right now, a cuddle buddy is about the best thing you can have, whether you married to them, shacking
Okay.
up, or renting
Okay.
them. A cuddle buddy really is essential during weather
Hello.
like this. Yes. So, how was your
Hello.
weekend, my dear?
Well, we had a certain Chat Daddy on our kicking off our candid conversations with K and K on Saturday. I wonder who that is. There's only one Chat Daddy, and that is that Chat Daddy, y'all. We had him yet
Uh,
on Saturday talking about New Year's resolutions, and
yes.
to be honest about them. So again, our many thanks. Your humor as well as your insight on how to really be honest about what you want to live your best life this year. It
Yes.
was just really cool. So thank you so much for joining us to kick off our season in 2022.
Well, you know what? It was an honor and a pleasure to join you ladies. You ladies are really heartwarming. I feel you're very sincere. I love the fact that it will almost be a year that you ladies started the show and that
Yes.
you're steadily making steps towards making the show better and having great guests. And, kudos to both of you ladies for the production that you do every week. It speaks volumes about just your creativity. So, congratulations.
Well, we learn from the best because we were taught by the best, y'all.
Oh, amen. Very good. Well, I also want to thank everybody over at WGN TV as well as WGN Radio. This past Thursday, I had the pleasure of going back on one of my favorite shows here in Chicago, Daytime Chicago, which airs at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday on WGN TV, the superstation. The lovely Miss Tanya Francisco and Miss Amy Rutledge. Those ladies, I love them. They are funny. So we talked about New Year's resolutions turning into resolutions and things that you need to do to not stress yourself out, but to be on the right track for this new year. And so that was great. And then yesterday, a dream of mine finally came true. And I'm going to tell you a funny story. My maternal grandmother loved WGN radio. And
Really?
I'm gonna tell you why. Yes. So there's a story behind the love of WGN radio. For my grandmother's time period of her being a woman, a younger woman here in Chicago and coming from Mississippi, WGN radio was considered knowing what the white folks was doing. because of the news, the conversations, the you get what I'm saying? People,
Mm-hmm.
and not to age your parents, but or your grandparents, but I think they all came from the same era.
Mm-hmm.
That was her way of learning business, the world, things in
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Park, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Because WGN back then was considered white folks radio. Same
For real.
way with WLIT and any of the, like, I know songs from, as black folks oftentimes say, elevator music. I knew
Exactly.
songs from then because that's what my grandmother listened to. So if
Right.
nothing else, me being on WGN radio was paying homage to my grandmother.
Okay.
Now, my father used to listen to baseball. Wasn't GN the baseball station as
720. Yep. Because my father and uncle, my uncle would listen to 720. My dad would listen to News Radio 780, which is still on the air now. So, yes,
Yes.
that is
So both
right.
of those paid homage to my history, my heritage, it just was so wonderful. And Steve Dale, for him to have been a complete stranger, contacted me. He's an icon and a legend. Steve Dale's Pet World is huge. He was on Daytime Chicago today giving out pet tips. He is an authority on pet everything. And he was an acquaintance of Betty White. So
That's
just to be
cool.
on the radio laughing and talking with him yesterday was so great. And then for him to close it off by saying, who knows, this may be your audition here. I just thought, so thank you again, Steve Dale, WGN Radio and TV, for giving me a platform over this weekend. So thank you. I appreciate you both.
God is truly in the blessing business, Chat
Yes,
Daddy. Make
yes,
no
yes.
mistake.
Yes, amen. All right. So, darling, after your show this weekend, did you do anything else special?
Not a thing. I went to sleep. That's what I
Did you?
did.
Did you really? Did you looking for that cuddle buddy? Must have wore you out.
It
Is that it?
did, because he has to come correct now. I can't just have any color buddy coming in this house. He got
I
to come
know, I
correct.
know, I know. Yes, they have
So,
to pass a credit check. They
oh,
have they have
exactly.
they have to be 6'3".
Yes, Lord.
They have to be caramel complexion.
Well,
I, I
I can. That's doable. That's debatable. It could be, chocolate. I have no problem with that. But uh, you got to be able to communicate. And
okay.
not just coordinate. You better be able to
Communicate.
communicate.
Communicate. Yes. Okay.
Communicate. Yes.
Communicate. Yes, I get it.
Communicate.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right, darling. Well, I'm glad you got your rest.
I
We are
did.
forever praying for this cuddle buddy for you. I was in Walmart today and I was going up and down the aisles like, hello, are there any cuddle buddies here? I was hoping they said cuddle buddy cleanup on aisle 9, but they didn't. They didn't. They
But
didn't.
maybe we have to go somewhere else though, because Walmart, you gotta, I don't know if you can return them back. So we may have to go where the return policy is flexible. How about that?
Well, before we get into the COVID numbers, Kay Renee, I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that there is nothing in the stores anymore. Like
Really?
things are so scarce in the stores.
Oh
This
my.
past Saturday, I went to one of our major retail grocery stores, and
Mm-hmm.
the juice and cheese aisle was like barren to the point that I thought maybe it was a issue with refrigeration or something was wrong. And don't get me wrong, there was a few bottles of juice, there was maybe a couple of packs of cheese, but for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, it was like barren. I went to another big superstore today, and the same thing when it came to like the juice. When it came to a couple of other things, and I'm a huge drinker of juice. I drink
Mm-hmm.
carrot juice every morning as a part of my dietary wake me up. I was
Mm-hmm.
not able to find it at two different stores today. Not the
Not Whole
brand I drink.
Foods?
Not the brand. I drink a certain brand, and no, I'm not
Got
buying
it.
it at
Okay.
Whole Foods. Honey. I'm
Okay.
buying it at Walmart.
Okay.
Girl, I'm buying it at Walmart.
I like that.
Yes,
That's a new store. I
yes,
didn't know that.
yes,
Walmart.
Walmart.
Okay.
Yes, when you bougie, it's Walmart. Yes, I'm buying it at
Walmart. I
Walmart,
got you.
honey. Right,
I
yes.
got you.
So yes, no, Walmart didn't have any, and the young man
Okay.
said that it's not. He's not seen it on the pallet recently. So this whole
Really?
supply issue thing is big. It's really
I bet.
happening. Yes.
Yeah. Which is really sad. We have to talk to the CEO of Walmart and say, look now, Chat Daddy needs his carrot juice, so
Right.
don't be tripping. Walmart. I
Walmart.
love that
Yeah.
scorpion. Walmart
Yes.
with the accent. Yes.
Yes. Walmart,
Walmart.
baby. Yes. Amen. No, I was going to shopping at Walmart today. Yeah.
Okay. All
Absolutely.
right.
I had my pinky finger out, my mink coat on at Walmart.
At Walmart.
At
Okay.
Walmart. Yes.
All righty.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to Dr. Janice Seabrook joining us at
Yes.
7:30 tonight to talk about the latest COVID-19 update. We appreciate her every time she comes on the show. She helps us out. Well, since we are a health and wellness show, Kay Renee, I do want to give the latest update to all the COVID-19 information. Believe it or not, the state of Florida reported 126,000 new cases from the weekend. So we're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They had 126,000 new COVID or probable COVID-19 cases in the state of Florida. So let me give you guys the latest here in Illinois. Illinois public health officials reported 19,237 new or probable cases as of today, and that was a one day. 34 additional fatalities happened as of Monday. On Saturday, 29,011 new cases were reported, with 29,585 cases reported on Sunday. There has now been a total of 2,460,270 cases here in the state of Illinois since the beginning of the pandemic, and we have unfortunately had 28,568 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. I know what you're going to say. No words. I mean, can you imagine that many cases in Florida? We always laugh about Florida being a petri dish, Florida being, a place where everything goes, but that's 126,000 people.
And they're averaging, I saw a news report this evening that they're averaging 1,500 deaths a day.
Yes.
Can you imagine that?
Absolutely. This is something that we could never have imagined this in our wildest dreams,
But you've always made this comment, Chat, that this experience is of biblical proportions.
Revelations.
It
Revelations.
Is.
Yes,
it is.
It really is when you truly think about it,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's really sad.
Well, as of Sunday night, 7,114 patients were reported to be in hospitals here in Illinois with COVID-19. Of those patients, 1,139 were in the ICU, and 644 of the patients were on ventilators battling COVID-19. As of today, there has now been 19,668,558 vaccine dosages administered in the state of Illinois as of Sunday. And that now means that 61.7% of our state population is fully vaccinated. But you also have to think our positivity rate is at 17.3.
It was at 18 point something last week, so I guess it went down a
Oh, no. Well, then they said this was the 7-day. So
okay, that's a 7-day average.
If you're not mistaken, I do take that back, because if I'm not mistaken, I thought I heard on the evening news tonight that we were at like 18.3 or 18.
That's what I thought.
Yes, you're right. So I take that back. That's the 7-day average. Wow. So unbelievable. That's all I can say about that. It's just unbelievable.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Chat, regarding Chicago Public Schools. Are they going to be canceled again tomorrow? Because I know I've been seeing Madam Lori on the news outlets, and she ain't happy at all.
No, she's not. She is not. And I don't know, what to say at this particular point about this entire situation, other than I was talking to somebody this morning, and we were saying that 5 years from now, and this is no disrespect to anyone who has children in public school, and clearly hear me out on this, but we are going to have a lot of children that will be educationally behind because of all this missing school. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? You and I have talked to people who were educators on this show, who have actually, in other cities and other, states, who have actually said the things that they've seen the children doing, the sleeping, the not paying attention. The biggest thing about in-person learning is a teacher saying, listen, Karen, pay attention. Listen, Renee, pay attention. Girl, stop running your mouth. Pay attention to what I'm teaching you. Who knows? Remember when we were young and the teacher would ask the question, oh, me. That's in-person interaction. You can't get that online. You cannot.
No, you can't. You can't.
Right.
And that's just that, that's the sobering truth about that, and then those kids are going to grow up and hopefully they'll be able to have those type of skills. But there's something to be also said about parents who homeschooled their children in the beginning. So they may have the advantage as well. So it just, 6.5, a dozen and a half in another. So, it's just really, it's unfortunate. I hope that the teachers union as well as the school board can come to a happy medium, but it's at the end of the day, it's affecting one group, and that's our children.
Yeah, I was talking to another friend who they have a child in early learning, kindergarten, first grade, and they said they're now faced with having to remove her from a selective enrollment public school, one of those public schools that everybody brag about. Like there's one minutes away from my home that's one of the best in the city. And they said in order for their daughter to continue to grow and be as smart and as functional as she is, they're getting ready to now enroll her in one of those high-end private schools just so she can continue to have that edge. Because really, if you don't get them when they're in kindergarten, first grade, or second grade, the train is off the tracks, really. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody's children, but it's the early developmental years that make a difference.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's it with that. As you guys all know, a number of Chicago area suburbs are now under the Cook County vaccine mandate, which is started here January 3rd for Chicago. It's Cook County as well. Well, Evanston, Oak Park, and Skokie's new rules will go into effect, and it will require customers at vendors in indoor venues to proof of vaccine before they can eat in the establishments, drink, or hang out in the establishments. So everybody's following suit on that.
Yeah. Again, when is the 15th, chat?
The Saturday. 15th is this weekend, right? Yes.
Did you make a statement before the new year regarding this?
I did. I said Dr. King weekend. I said it. Yeah. I really did. Joseph said, good evening. I really do feel for the kids that can't do in-person learning. Cincinnati is virtual also right now. Wow. So we're not the only place. We're not the only ones doing virtual.
No.
Wow.
And, unfortunately, the majority of these cases, the reason why the hospitalization numbers are so high because folks are not being vaccinated.
Yes. Yeah, I know quite a few people that still are not vaccinated and don't care to be vaccinated. No. They do not. No. And they said, oh no, you won't catch me with that mess. Y'all better go on somewhere and sit down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, all right. Well, Kay Renee, we're going to save a lot of our entertainment and news stories for tomorrow night's show. But we do before Dr. Janice Seabrook. And if we don't get through all of the people, once she leaves us, we'll finish up. I'll leave time so we can finish up. But let's talk about a death that just shocked both of us. Sir Sidney Poitier died at the age of 94. And I'm going to let you just reflect on him, and then we'll talk about his life and times.
Well, I made a post when first of all, I got the notice from you, as you always keep us up to date with the latest news. So when I saw your post, I said, no, not Sir Sidney. See, a lot of people keep forgetting he was knighted, y'all, by Queen Elizabeth. So he is a sir, or
that's
was
right.
A sir.
And an ambassador. He was in the ambassador of
the
Japan.
Bahamas
to Japan.
That's right. So for me, Sir Sidney Poitier
Poitier.
epitomizes grace, elegance, class. Just, he was the best actor, period. Not the best black actor, y'all. He was the best actor, period, in a generation.
Yes.
I made a post when the moment I knew it was confirmed that Sir Sidney Poitier had made his transition. There would be no Denzel Washington if it wasn't for Sidney Poitier.
That's
now I'm
right.
gonna keep her, and I said it.
That's
Because
right.
Sidney epitomized him and Harry Belafonte, who I heard he is devastated because they're the same age by his passing.
Right. Yes.
They were in a generation where, like with Motown, you had to be knowledgeable in everything you did if you were going to be an actor. And let's be clear, he had no role model. I mean, he may have thought maybe Paul Robeson, I'm thinking, but he really had no role model to turn to. So he just had to pull himself off the bootstraps and do it his way. You know, the movies, you think about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, To Sir with Love, Lilies of the Field, which he won the Best Actor Award, Academy Award. But the one that Scorpio Love is talking about, In the Heat of the Night, when he made that statement, they called me Mr. Tibbs and slapped that white man. Because I guarantee you, if he went to the theater to see that, I bet everybody in the theater said, God dog it, that's right, slap it again, damn it.
And well, you know, that was a first. That was a first.
Exactly. They didn't do that. And that white man who's responded, do you know you could have been killed for that? And Sidney just looked at him and said, and walked his butt right out. I mean, it was classic. You know, the fact that, and Sir Sidney was also a civil rights activist.
Yes,
he is
was.
The reason with the March on Washington. He brought his celebrity friends, like Sammy Davis Jr., like Harry Belafonte, like Charlton Heston, Frankston, all those. He was instrumental in showing them what the civil rights movement was about. And so, and he was the ultimate girls' dad. He had 6 girls, no boys.
That's right.
You know, 2 of his daughters are in the acting profession now. So a lot of people don't know this now. And I will say this. Yes, in the beginning, he married a sister, was in love, or as my late father would say, was in love with Diane Carroll, had a 9-year affair with Diane Carroll, but ended up marrying a Canadian.
Are you trying to say a white woman?
I said a Canadian.
Are you saying a white woman? Is that what you're saying? A white woman? You know, my alter ego, a white woman? Is that what you're saying?
I said a Canadian.
Yes, okay.
So my thing is this, as brilliant, yes, he was epic, legendary, iconic, brilliant, amazing. And don't get me wrong, Janice Seabrook was an actor herself, a model herself. They were married for over 40 years. So I know to her and her daughters, and as well as his ex-wife and their daughters, you know, this is a sad occasion. But I wonder, Chad, why is it, and we may have to have a discussion, another show on this, why is it all our successful brothers like to marry others?
We will be having that show very soon because I think I get it. I've had this conversation before, and you know, I've taken some heat for my comments, but I think I get it. We will have this show and talk about it very, very soon because it is interesting. I've noticed that in many realms, successful Black men are only with women of other races and not their own, and the same goes for successful Black women nowadays not being married to their own. Watika said, hello, guys. He has a daughter named Sydney. I love her. He and Harry Belafonte have been the Saints of Bina. We know very, very
I believe that.
Yes, they are. Yes. They're good supporters of Father Michael Flager and all of his parishioners. So yes, they are. Yes. All right. Very good. Well, we're going to keep doing what we need to do to continue to move on. Sidney Poitier became the first Black man to win a Best Actor's Oscar for his role in the 1963 film Lilies of the Field, which I loved it. My maternal grandmother, she loved it. That was one of our favorite movies to watch together. After serving in the Army and between dishwashing gigs, he joined the National American Negro Theater, trading janitorial services for theatrical training. He would clean and they would give him classes. He eventually got enough to make it to Broadway, and he actually was in the role. I forgot what the play was, but he made it to
Raisin,
Broadway.
was it Raisin in the
It
Sun?
was not Raisin in the Sun. It was another one.
Porky
Because
and Bess?
nope, No Way Out in
Okay.
1950, as Porter was cast as the noble African American standing against bigotry in it, but it was not that. I'll figure it out. We'll talk about that. But in 1959 is when he starred in A Raisin in the Sun on Broadway. He picked up his first Best Oscar nod for the role in The Defiant Ones,
Oh,
and that
wonderful
was
movie.
opposite of Tony
Tony
Curtis.
Curtis,
Yes,
yes.
you name it. The same year, he ended up being a part of Porgy and Bess. He starred alongside Dorothy Dandridge, Sammy
Oh,
Davis Jr., Pearl Bailey, Diane Carroll, and Brock Peters, and that is where I think the tryst between him and Diane Carroll
mm-hmm.
happened. 4 years later, he won Best Actor Academy Award, first black man to do so, again for Lilies in the Field, where he played Homer Smith, a handyman building a chapel in the desert. And, you know, as we said, he became such a superstar and a legend, and he will be missed.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Then the other shocking death was Mr. Bob Saget. Oh, that's right. Guess who's coming to dinner? Watika
Yes.
is right about that. Yes. The other death was Mr. Bob Saget. He was born in 1956. He was staying at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Orlando, Florida. The comedian was on tour and performing a 2-hour stand-up set the night before his death. He used his room key to enter his room at 2:17 a.m. on Sunday morning. Uh, Next thing you know, his family was worried about why they hadn't heard from him. They asked the hotel to do a well-being check. They went in the room and they found Mr. Saget dead. They said there was no proof of alcohol or foul play or drug usage, and they found him dead. Unfortunately, Bob Saget leaves behind 3 adult daughters. He also leaves behind a wife that he married just in 2018. He leaves his ex-wife behind, and from what I understand, one of the most upstanding guys you ever want to meet.
I mean, everyone, because remember, Bob Saget, who is like America's dad in Full House. I remember watching, and I'm going to tell you something. I thought he was, of all the three men, I thought he was the cutest thing since sliced bread. Because I'm attracted to little geeks, and he was
Yeah,
geeky. But
yeah,
he had such a sweetheart. I mean, he was a widow. He played a widow father of three
yep,
girls, right? And
yep,
so he just had that quirkiness about him. And I remember also an episode he played in Law and Order Special Victims Unit. He played a different role with Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney. And I was like, oh, I just love Bob Saget. And of course, everyone knows him from America's Funniest Videos. So to
yeah.
hear this, I'm like, you gotta be kidding. And I shared with you before we went on the air, because I get notifications from People Magazine online. And they had a photo of him. And I looked at his face very carefully. And I said, it looks like there may have been some health challenges, because look, he may have had a stroke. And
Uh-huh.
so I'm wondering, I'm sure we will know the toxicology reports, and I know they're going to do an autopsy. I thought that too, Watika. I said that to artists. I said maybe he had a heart attack, but
Right.
um, the fact that and here's the thing: they shared his last text to his daughter saying "I love you," and so
Yeah.
this is just a reminder, y'all, a cautionary tale. People that you love, that you appreciate, always let them know, because you never know when it's the last time you will see them.
Right, right. You're very true about that. If nothing else, I am learning that more day and day. Kay Renee, I didn't know you and I had something in common. I like the geeky, nerdy. I used to often tell people, honey, give me a good Iliad troll or hobbit that loves me, and I'll love them in return. So I'm with you on that. Yeah, I tell
Yeah,
people,
because
you're right.
let me tell you something about geeks. They like to read, right?
Yes.
And they
Yep.
can what? They can communicate. They don't need about
Yeah.
coordinate. They can
Yes.
communicate.
That's right.
So
That's right.
that I do like a good geek. And of course, if he's 6'3", I mean, I definitely like a good geek then.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there you go.
I like me a good goofy. I like a guy that drools every now and then. Come here, baby. Let me wipe that drool off your cheek. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm with you. Yeah, right. Because I've had perfect before, and perfect has gotten on my nerves. So yeah, give me a little goofy, give me a little nerve, give me look at one of our viewers. That's too funny. He said, gay geek over here. Joseph, I knew I liked you from the beginning, though. I really did. Yeah. Um, oh, Watika said K Renee,
Oh
bad
no,
boy.
I had
I'm with
a
her
no,
too.
I had a Watika.
Me
I
too.
had a bad boy. Trust and
Yeah.
believe. That's why I
Mhm.
divorced him. So next
Yep.
subject.
Look, okay, so we're gonna have to talk about interracial dating on this show, and we're gonna have to talk about the
Yes,
bad boy thing because I'm not
that's right.
interested in that either. No, I'm
That's
not.
right.
Give me a slightly goofy anytime. Yes,
Okay,
I
anytime.
appreciate it. Yes, absolutely. Well, we do have more deaths that we are going to talk about. Don't forget that Dr. Janice Seabrook will be joining us in just a little bit. Everywhere you turn, everybody is talking about Omicron and the effects it has had. I heard on the news this weekend that some Walgreens locations are closing early because they don't
Yes.
even have enough staff. I went to one of our fast food places today to get my afternoon pick me up, and the
Mm-hmm.
line was long as hell. And when I got it, I had ordered online, but you can't go in to get it. When I got up to the speaker box, the first thing the lady said was, "Sir, please forgive me. I am so backed up. I am the only employee in this Dunkin' Donuts right now." She said all of her help was sick, weren't coming to work, and she said, "Sir, give me just a minute." And when I got up there to get it, because I had already paid for it online, everything, she
Mm-hmm.
apologized. She was the only employee working at Dunkin' Donuts today. The only. So this
That seems to be a trend because a lot
right.
of healthcare workers, a lot of these small businesses are just losing staff because of this variant of this virus.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, hopefully Dr. Janet Seabrook can help us to better understand what's going on because I am just afraid. I am so afraid now that, and it's funny, people that I talk to that want to meet with me, the first thing out of their mouths is I'm fully vaccinated. I've recently had a COVID
That's
test
right. That's
and
right.
look at all of that. And I said, oh my God, it is sad that we have to prove our worth nowadays because of a COVID test and a vaccine. I said, this is too much.
If I truly believe if people would take this seriously, we would be in much better shape now than a lot of countries overseas that they're doing. You think about South Africa, you think about Australia, of which the tennis star apparently they listened to his appeal and now he's going to play. But you know, I don't know what to say on that. I'm not going to get on my soapbox about that. We're going to talk to
Okay.
Dr. Janet.
I know we love her. I think she'll help us understand. And then, I want to get some idea on what the hell is flu Rona. I think I went to high school with her, flu Rona. Who came up with that? But it's a real
There
thing.
may be a teacher's name named Mr. or Mrs. Fluroma. How about that?
No, I think I went to high school with Flu Rona Johnson. I think I do. But I mean, who knew at this particular point that we would be dealing with things like this? And then keep in mind, it is flu season. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
So,
That it
all right,
is.
without further ado, we are always so honored when we welcome her back to the show. She is a family medicine practitioner. She is the president of Community HealthNet Health Centers in Northwest Indiana. Dr. Janice Seabrook writes wonderful articles that are featured in the Crusader. She has just an amazing cooking show that I had the honor and pleasure of being on and hope to get back in studio with her again. We just love her. We really do. And she comes and she tells us the truth almost as if she's a family member who happens to be a doctor, and we are
Amen.
really appreciative every time we have her on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, the amazing Dr. Janice Seabrook.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi, Dr. Janet. Happy New Year. Happy New You, sweetie.
Happy New Year to you all. Can you hear me?
We can,
Yes.
yes, yes.
You know, I had to pray on my technology, and I had to pray that we would not have the same thing the last time I was on here. But even better, my hubby called Comcast, and they were out here probably about a half an hour ago. They just left a half an hour. I said, I cannot mess this show up again. That cannot happen.
Oh, Doctor, we appreciate you. You have been with us now, ever since the pandemic and doing this show. You've been so supportive of us. So whatever time we get from you, we appreciate it. We understand. Look, where I live, look, the Wi-Fi was so bad, but they had to fix it. So we understand these things, and we just thank God. But no, you look crystal clear. You sound perfect. And glad to have you back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you both. And I am so glad to be invited back and so glad to have made it to 2022.
Yes,
Amen.
yes. Well, Doctor, we want to get right into this tonight, just to talk about all of this that's going on. I was joking before we brought you on. What in the world is flu-rona, and what are the symptoms of flu-rona?
So, leave it up to us. Leave it up to the culture. Leave it up to Black folks. We like to mash stuff up. And this is a true mashup, okay?
Okay.
Influenza, flu, and COVID or corona, or the Rona, as we like to call it. You can literally get both of them at the same time. That's why it's very important when you start to show symptoms of COVID, that you make sure that you are also tested for influenza. Because guess what? We smashed those. When I say as a collective, the community.
Right.
People who have had the flu and COVID overlapping have nicknamed that the flu-rona. So that is not an official medical term. That came from the culture. But you can get, on a serious note, you can get influenza. This is flu season. You can get influenza and also have COVID. They have the same signs and symptoms. So it's very important that if that COVID test says negative, if you are still suffering with symptoms, that you ask your healthcare provider for an influenza test as well, so you can rule out the flu.
So should you get the flu shot and your vaccination shot simultaneously, or should you get it separately?
So I've been recommending this since the beginning of flu season in October, when flu vaccine is available, telling people that it is okay. We give children multiple medications, multiple vaccines at one time when they're under the age of 2. They're infants, and we will give them doses. We have one vaccine for children that has 4 doses of vaccine in it, 4 different vaccines. We'll give it to them in one arm, and we'll turn around and give them another vaccine that has 2 separate medications in it. We don't think anything about that.
Okay.
So why should we as adults be scared to go get a flu shot in one arm and your booster or your second dose in your other arm? Yes, the CDC has said that you can receive both of those vaccines, your booster or your second shot, and your flu shot on the same day. Now, if you're someone that had a reaction to either one, when you get your flu shot normally and it typically makes you sick, you might want to speak to your healthcare provider about considering maybe separating them out by a week. But most people, on average, can get them both at the same time. However, if you're someone that had a reaction either to when you get a flu shot, or you had a reaction to getting a COVID shot, you may want to think about separating them by a week.
Okay. We have a question here from a viewer that says the CDC info is so confusing.
Yes,
Doc,
Lord.
it used to be you'd have to be in the house. I just read something today or saw something on TV where they talking about if you asymptomatic but yet positive, healthcare workers, you can't even take no time off. We need you. And I'm like, Doc, why is everything so confusing now?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that is because people do not want the economy to shut down again like it did totally in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
I
now,
do too.
The CDC's position is if you are asymptomatic after 5 days, if you are not showing any, you can return to work.
Mm-hmm.
I am uncomfortable with that. I'm not the only physician that is uncomfortable with that. There are several physicians groups across the United States, some of which are very powerful, like the American Medical Association, are in conflict with that. Now, what has been happening is that, and this is just for me and Community HealthNet, my organization, if you test positive and you are an employee of Community HealthNet, we are retesting you before you come back to work. We're doing that. I need to know that we're not ourselves bringing COVID into our organization and then passing it on to vulnerable patients that we may be seeing, like infants or pregnant women.
Right.
So I have concerns. We are trying to follow the CDC guidelines, but we're doing that with precaution. If you are asymptomatic, you tested positive for COVID, you don't have any symptoms, you don't have a fever, sore throat, you can still smell, you can still taste, I still want you to get tested. But other organizations and businesses that are like the store that you mentioned today, the place that you visited today, one worker. Probably because there were people that were working with COVID and spread it within that business. And now they don't have a choice. They only have one employee to keep the store running. So what I have noted since that December 27th CDC recommendation has occurred is that now places of business are experiencing more employee shortages because people were returning to work with COVID and infecting their coworkers.
Yep.
The same thing is going to happen as soon as the kids start going back to school, and they're back in most places.
Right.
And it's just going to continue. It's just like this vicious cycle that we can't seem to get ourselves out of because we can't get enough people vaccinated. And then we still have a population that aren't able to get vaccinated yet, and that's the newborns to 5 years old. So we're just constantly, it is like being on a little hamster wheel.
Right.
People are tired. Not only the general community and the general public, the healthcare providers are tired. They're being abused and disabused by patients, and people are just frustrated. People who have COVID and are in the hospital don't want to believe that they have COVID. Their family members don't believe that they have COVID. And it's just like a nightmare. I was telling someone today on staff, I was like, it's like a nightmare. And then you go back to sleep and you keep having the same nightmare. You wake up,
like
you do what you have to do to get through the day, and then you go back to sleep and you have the same nightmare. It's like this reoccurring nightmare, at least for me.
Doc, I have a related question. That because you brought a good point up. You have workers with your organization. From a HIPAA standpoint, let's say you have an employee that has COVID, and they have to, let's say, not take a leave of absence, but they cannot be working. How does it affect HIPAA privacy? So HIPAA is totally different.
So if I haven't given you permission to release my medical record to someone, say a lawyer's office calls, or your mom or your dad calls, or a family member says, I want that medical record. You can't have my medical record without me saying that it is okay for you to release this information to the person. You also have the right to say, I do not want my medical information released to the following organizations,
Okay.
And so that's totally different than protecting the health of the community. It's almost like STD or STI reporting, and then getting in contact with the contacts securely to make them aware of the potential to have been affected by an STI. Same as what you have to treat it as a public health measure, and you want to make people aware. But what we do in our organization is once a staff member brings that information to us, that they have someone in their household that tested positive, or they themselves have tested positive, we have them quarantined. Most of the time they'll call. They have the good sense to call and not to come into the office. And then we will ask them, who were you with in these last 5 days? Who are you with? Were you in your own office, relegated to your own space? Or were you in a public area? Were you in the break room? Were there more than 2 people in the break room with you? Were you spaced? And we ask those questions, and then we confidentially, and it's through our HR, contact those people in the staff, and then have them go and get tested. And I mean, they can do it right in the office because we have testing sites. Right. And then we find out their status. Typically, we will ask people to quarantine. It's like a Friday. We'll ask them, you've been exposed. If you can get tested over the weekend, do it. But if not, drive up on Monday. We'll test you. And then if everything is good, then you can come inside the office and go to work. If not, then you go back home and quarantine. So we try not to violate anyone's privacy, but we also have to think about the public health aspect of it as well.
Doctor, I know you're very big on health and nutrition, and I appreciate all that information you share, because really it's knowledgeable, and I'm sure a lot of employers and places would have to follow those guidelines as well. But what can we do in this new year to get our immune system boost back up? I've heard people talking about sleep with onions in your socks at night, sleep with a clove of garlic around your neck. I know you cook healthy and nutritious. Is there anything that we can really do to help boost our immune systems right now?
So what I will tell people who ask me things like that is that if you are someone who takes a regular multivitamins supplement, then you should continue with that. You should make sure that you're getting the appropriate amount of water, that you're sleeping, getting a good 8 hours of sleep every night if you can, that you are, like I said, hydrating yourself very well, that you're eating good foods, green leafy vegetables, if you can, lots of salad, lots of fresh fruit, vitamin C, things like that. I won't say, and I see someone commented that sea moss is good for mucus. I have not yet tried sea moss for any ailments, but I am hearing that people are attributing a lot of good things to it. And I think I might have shared this story with you before. I had patients, when I was actively seeing patients, that would literally come into the office smelling like garlic, because they would get up in the morning and drink their garlic juice that they have made, and their blood pressure would be fine. And they were trying not to take blood pressure medications. And so what I would ask them to do is check your blood pressure at 12 noon and at 6 p.m. and before you go to bed.
Okay.
And they would do that. And so when they would come to the office, their blood pressure was relatively okay.
Right.
And then they would check it 2 or 3 times during the day, and it was back up to sky high.
Right.
And I said, just think about this. This blood pressure medication is made to last most times 12 hours or 24 hours. I don't know how long that garlic juice is going to work on you. You may have to drink that garlic juice all day for it to keep your blood pressure. But maybe the good thing about garlic juice is that you're so smelly, the people that stress you out won't come around. Maybe
That's
that's
right.
how
That's right. That's right. Oh my God. And here's the
Keep them
funniest thing.
energy
I love
vampires
garlic.
away.
I love the smell of
I
garlic.
do too.
I do
But
too.
it'll keep them energy vampires away. That's for sure.
but the moral of the story is yes, it does work. It does have some ability to keep your blood pressure down, but it's not sustainable.
Yes.
It doesn't last the whole day.
Right.
You know, I don't even know if it lasts a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell my patients, if that makes you feel good, you keep drinking it, but take it when you drink it. Here, take this pill too.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I love you, doctor. I do. In closing, what do we want to tell everybody tonight? Are we, we're trying to get people vaccinated, but people are still hard-headed. Look, Florida just this past weekend, Doc, had 126,000 new cases. So, you always give us good advice from your heart about what we should be doing at this particular period right now. Where are we, Doc?
So people are not gonna like this, but I'm going to again express that people should get vaccinated. If they have not gotten vaccinated, they should get their booster if they have not gotten their booster shot. You should continue to physically distance because not everyone is vaccinated. You should continue to wear your mask. We're saying now that surgical masks or the N95 masks are best right now if you're going out in public. Instead of a cloth mask. If you want, people have gotten so many colorful and cute cloth masks, they don't want them to go to waste. So, put your surgical mask on and then put your cute, colorful mask on top of it. But you can't be too careful because we do have so many people that are not vaccinated or unable to be vaccinated. So I would just ask people to get vaccinated, get boosted, continue with the hand hygiene, with the physical distancing if you can. We're pretty much, as far as in our office, almost back to doing the things that we were doing in the initial part of the pandemic, which is unfortunate. The only thing that we have not done are the gowns and our plastic shields, but it may come to that eventually. So I would just ask people to try to be as precautious as you can and continue with those safety measures that were put in place back in at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep. Doc, I love that. That is incredible. If I even have people to my home, I ask them to leave their shoes at the door. My friend, he is even, taking public transportation. I spray him down when he comes in the door with a, disinfectant spray. So, I mean, I'm with you. I feel as if we need to be cautious. Every time I use the bathroom, I'm wiping the toilet seats and faucet down. I keep these things around my home until, to make sure we're using them. So you're absolutely right, because we do not know.
And the minute that you let your guard down, that's when it happens.
That's
okay,
right.
Very good. Real quick, Doc, we do have a question here. Ursula said it takes 5 to 7 days to get test results back, and by then you have finished your quarantine time. And I have heard a lot of people say, the rapid test may say one thing, but when they go to take the other test, it's taking so long now. Can you address that for us real quick before we say goodnight?
Just remember what I just said. We're almost going back to the early stages of the pandemic and when testing was available. And remember how long it was taking people to get their test results back? Because there's been such a surge in the virus, the Omicron virus, this variant. You now have people wanting the PCR, yes, the PCR test. Those same shortages that we just talked about at that store that you went to, guess what? The labs are facing the same shortages. So they don't have the staff to do the quick turnaround and get those PCR tests that we had been getting back in 2 to 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when COVID first started and those PCR tests were out? It used to take 5 to 7 days for them to come back.
Right.
And this is what we've gotten back to. They got it down to a 2 to 3 day turnaround. And then we had this huge surge, more demand for testing, less people to run the tests.
Lord have mercy.
Call any CVS or Walgreens right now. They now take a 1 hour break. They close the whole pharmacy for people to get a break, which didn't have to happen before because there was enough staff for them to do the break staggered.
Mm-hmm.
And they could continue to fill pharmacy orders. They can't do that now because they're testing people for COVID, they're vaccinating people for COVID, and they still have to fill a certain amount of prescriptions every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All of them down for 1 hour. Those same things are occurring at LabCorp, Quest, any hospital lab, anywhere is running those same PCR tests. That's
very good. She's right.
So you have to quarantine until you get your result back. And yes, it is very overwhelming. And typically by the time the test comes back now, because it's 5 to 7 days, somebody said 2 weeks later, we've gone backwards. We've literally gone backwards. And I wish I had an answer, but some things are out of our control. Once we gather the sample, we have to wait. And people are in quarantine. And again, you have some people that are tired of waiting for the test. They can't afford to wait for the results, and they go back to work, and then they're positive.
It's a vicious cycle. It's like a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hey, Renee, what do you want to say to the doctor in closing? And then we're going to put some very important information up that her organization provided. Go right ahead, Kay Renee.
Dr. Janet, as always, thank you so much for your authenticity, your intelligence. Thank you for answering that question because I needed some help, and you were just always on top. And I cannot wait. Hopefully this year we three will get a chance to see each other and just give that virtual hug. So as always, thank you so much, Dr. Janet.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much, Kay Renee.
And ladies and gentlemen, Community HealthNet Health Centers is providing information here on the screen. For more information based on the CDC's recommendations, please visit the cdc.gov coronavirus 2019. They damn near need to update that to 2022 at this point. Dr. Janice Seabrook is a family member to the show. We consider her our residential doctor, so we appreciate her. It's just like a family member coming on to talk to us heart to heart about what is going on. Make sure you guys pay close attention to your health. It is very critical. Anything that you feel is different or out of order, get it checked because we do not know what is going on with our health from day to day with this variant and coronavirus. So, doctor, we love you. We appreciate you. Another great segment.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. And have a great rest of the evening.
You too,
Bye,
ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Janice Seabrook, we love her so much. Make sure you guys please go and get more information on top of what we've given you tonight from the CDC recommendation, which at this point, honey, they saying drink ginger ale and sit your ass down. That's pretty much what they saying. Doc, I know you can't say it, but I can say it. Drink some damn ginger ale and sit your ass down somewhere because it changes every hour. It really does. Right. So please go to the CDC recommendations and get more information there. Doctor, we love you so much. We can't wait to see you the next time. And we appreciate you. Have a beautiful night. Everybody loved you, Doc. Look, they saying what a mess. Thank you, Dr. Seabrook.
It is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Scorpio Love said, get you some Robitussin. You know, that cures everything. Right. Yeah, get you some Robitussin. Thank you, doctor. We love you and have a beautiful night, okay?
Bye, Dr. Janet.
See you next time. Bye. Oh, my God. We just love her. She's so amazing. She really is. Yes. Dr. Janice Seabrook. Oh, boy. She was so informative tonight, Kay Renee. Oh, my God.
Oh, yes, she was. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we do want to acknowledge two more deaths before we leave tonight, real quick. We talked about Sir Harry Belafonte. We talked about Mr. Bob Saget, which we're in shock about. And then you had another one. And then I even had another one that I found out about that happened last week. And I want to talk about them before we skedoodle on out of here.
Well, the one that was kind of shocking that you also posted was James Ntume Foreman, but he's known as James Ntume. And for those who don't know that name, you do know the song that I shared with Art. I have a true story regarding Juicy Fruit. Now,
I probably got one too. Yes.
But I have to share this story because, you know, both of my parents, as all of you know, are now in spirit. But when my father was alive and he was indulging in the Hennessy and the Crown Royal, yes, my father was a recovering alcoholic.
He drank right. Oh, I'm sorry, but he drank right.
He had the Hennessy and the Crown Royal. But when he indulged in the Hennessy and the Crown Royal, he also played the single Juicy Fruit. Now, my mother, bless her heart, she never would use curse language until then. Because she would say, James, what in the you-know-what are you playing? And see, my father, unfortunately, when he got drunk, ladies and gents, he just liked to let it all out, literally, because he got hot. So he was on the floor. First he put the song Juicy Fruit on, and then he'd be on the floor. So I still have the record Juicy Fruit in my basement. So Mtume, we release you. But, you know, I did not know this gentleman came from a jazz family. He wrote songs for Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack. I mean, this man was just very talented. So, you know, I say to James Ntume Foreman, he passed away at the age of 76. But that was my Juicy Fruit story, and I'm sticking with it.
All right. Well, your Juicy Fruit story was interesting. My Juicy Fruit story involved bananas and balloons. I have to tell you that offline.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Yeah. My Juicy Fruit story involved baby oil and you know things.
Oh,
yeah. So that is one of my favorite songs because you so juicy. So, so I get it. Yes, I do. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, another passing that we want to acknowledge before we leave tonight actually happened last Thursday, and because of the death of Sir Sidney Poitier, who died last Thursday? It was Sir Sidney Poitier. We weren't able to really talk about it, but Calvin Simon, a founding member of the pioneer funk music group Parliament. He died last Thursday at the age of 79. The cause of death was not immediately released. His Facebook page is how people found out that he died. It was a tribute saying that he will be missed. Simon's former bandmate George Clinton and Bootsy Collins paid tribute to the vocalist on social media, and their tributes were really beautiful. But yes, he ended up dying. He was born in 1942 in Buckley, West Virginia, where he sang in church for a weekly radio broadcast. He joined the group in the known as the Parliament in the late 50s when his family relocated to New Jersey when he was a teenager. And you know, he always did have a musical background. He actually was in the Vietnam War. He did 2 years of service, and let me see. Oh yeah, he had a tremendous career. And Parliament Funkadelic members were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2019. No, I take that back. In 97. But in 2019, the group received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys.
Excellent.
Yes.
Rest in power, Mr. Simon.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Kay Renee, we've had a long and wonderful show this evening. It's been very informative. Would you like to do your nugget of knowledge tonight? And then we'll move on. Coming up tomorrow night on the show, it'll be Kay Renee and I, and we'll be talking about all the other stories that we've not had a chance to talk about because of the deaths we had to report on tonight in Dr. Janice Seabrook. So, all right, Kay Renee, go right ahead with that lovely nugget of knowledge.
Well, today is Motivational Monday, and here is your nugget. Success is not just what you accomplish in your life, it is about what you inspire others to do. Hashtag let your life be an inspiration.
There you go. Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge is where you can find more information about her. Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge, always great tips just when you need them. Just that little bite of what you need to make it through. And she does a great job. Please visit her website, karensnuggetsofknowledge.com. So if you've not done so already, we ask that you please subscribe to The Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook and YouTube. Very easy, simple, does not cost you anything. You can definitely do it. We would love for you to do it. Please visit The Real Chat Daddy Show, Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe. We really would appreciate it. For more information about yours truly, it's therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. That's my website. We'll be back tomorrow night with all of the other great things that happened since we last been here. We need to talk about the murder of all these young children we're hearing about here in Chicago.
Yes.
Another thing.
And then the fire that happened in New York yesterday. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in New York. That was the worst tragedy they've had in over 3 decades in New York like that, especially with a fire. And so we really do feel so bad for them. And their mayor just started the job 10 days ago. The first was his first day as the mayor. So, yeah, we are just so sorry. We'll talk about that tomorrow night as well. All right. We love you guys so much. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Again, if you've not signed up on YouTube or Facebook to follow us, please do so. We'd appreciate it. It's free, easy, and it helps us out a great deal. On behalf of my co-host, the amazing Miss Kay Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge, that's her over there. Yay, 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 yay. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Stay warm, stay well. We love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Wamelda, we appreciate you so much. We do have to do shout outs. Wamelda, Scorpio Love. We appreciate you.
Candace,
Debbie Green, yes,
Ursula,
Community Health, Ursula, Silva. We appreciate you. Candace, did we shout her out? We did.
Yes, we did.
We love all of you guys. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Be well, my friends. Good night.
Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Real